Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and welcome to a brand new installment of Future Langrisser series. This time around we're going to take a look at Eshean and Hofmann major update, so let's get right into who they are and what skills and talents they have. First off, let's take a look at Eshean. Her classes is going to be Infantry and Flyer. So yeah, basically she's going to be really good as a flyer, just an FYI. And her talent increases her attack and defense by 12% at 3 stars, and then at 6 stars is 25%, which is a significant amount, kind of think of it. At the start of the turn, if the number of glory you have that is not maximum, which is like 3, which is a 3 as a max, you get 1 stack of glory. And each of these increases the damage dealt depending on star level, minimum at 5, maximum at 10%. And then they cannot be removed, just an FYI. And also, if the amount of glory stacks you have is like 3, which is a maximum, at the beginning of the turn, all these will be removed, and then the cooldown of all your skills will be reduced by 3 turns at minimum and 5 turns at 5 stars, or higher, of course. And after you complete your action, you will be able to use an additional skill, which is the control skill, which has 3 different versions. There's Revival, which allows you to remove 1 stack of glory and removes 30% HP. Like restores 30% HP, that's actually quite nice for her to like self-heal on yourself. And there are no cooldown when you use the skill. And there's also Royal Order. Gain 1 stack of glory. Gives an ally increased attack and int by 20% for 2 turns, and this has no cooldown, and this can be proc by 3 range. And it's a single target cast. And finally, we have the move skill, which basically gives you a glory stack, like 1 glory stack, and also allows an ally to act again, like whoever you want to act again. And this is a 3-turn cooldown, and this can be activated through 3 blocks of range, and it's a single target, of course. So yeah, you can already tell that Eshean is going to be more like a support on offense and defense when it comes to like helping out your team. Yeah, she's a must. Kind of think of it. And let's talk about her skills. One cost skill is a 4-turn cooldown, and this can only be activated by self. So just to let you know. And also for each stack of glory you have, receive a random buff. After use, can move 3 more blocks. If you have 2 or more stacks of glory, you can move 4 blocks and you can attack again with this one. After using this skill, the control skills cannot be used at the end of the action, and the number of buff duration will not be reduced. So yep, some typical stuff. And also, if you choose to use a skill, you won't be able to use the control skills that your talent has. So just keep that in mind. You won't be able to act again once you use the skill. So think carefully if you want to use act again or not. But if your act again is already a cooldown, you could probably use this because there's no other options. Anyways, 2C skill is a 2-turn cooldown and it's a 3 blocks range. And the passive part of this is that ally units in a 2-block radius will have a crit chance reduced by 30%, and then 15% range damage reduction from the enemy attacks. So yeah, this is a nice defensive passive here. So that's actually, which is pretty neat. So that means Lena might not be able to take advantage of this at all, not as much as before. The assist skill basically is buff control skills used at the end of the action will have an increased properties, of course. Revival gets an increase of 80% healing to yourself, and this can also be used on allies. Just to keep that in mind. The Royal Order will have an increase on the buff when it comes to offense and defense capabilities. And the act again skill increases the target's movement by 2, which will last 2 turns. So yeah, this is basically like a buff improvement for your control skills. So yeah, basically if you need some more, like, I mean, you should be able to use this because for the fact that this will improve your control skills. So that's actually quite nice. And finally, we have 3C, which is her signature move, which is a 5-turn cooldown and is a single target attack. And this is a melee attack, of course. If you have glory, You will not die when receiving fatal damage. Removes all glory, reduces the damage of all skills by 5 turns, and restores 30% health. And this effect can only be used once for the rest of the battle, like for the rest of the map, of course. So yeah, basically she has like a built-in revive effect. So it's kind of like indomitable with Landius and also Emperor Lovina some ways, but this actually like have a more HP on there. So yeah, basically like for the indomitable, they basically restore your HP by 20%, but this is a 30%. So this is actually a significant difference, but it's basically the same way. Anyways, deals and also the physical damage on this one is it does like it's 1.3 times damage to one enemy. And also for each stack of glory, the damage from this skill increases by 15%. If you have 2 or more stacks of glory, the enemy will be stunned for 1 turn before the fight and cannot be dispelled. If you successfully eliminate the enemy, all glory stacks will be removed, and also this will reduce all your skill cooldown by 5, and you'll be able to move 5 blocks after attacking. So that's actually quite nice. So, anyways, you can already tell this is pretty much busted when you kind of think of it. So, if you're able to kill someone, you get that skill back immediately. And I gotta say, this is actually pretty broken. What I mean broken is that it is actually the next level of broken, apart from Andreo. You know, Andreo's 3C basically has like a thing like if you're able to kill someone, you get that skill back immediately, but you had to wait for 2 turns. Well, apparently, based on what I'm reading in this skill, there is no cooldown between this. So yeah, you can get this back infinitely. Like, honestly, I don't know how broken it would be, but I'm not sure if they're gonna change it up. But we'll see how it goes. It might not be broken, but still, the only thing that you don't have to worry about is that this attack does not allow them to ignore guard. So just to let you know about this only Andreo does that, which is pretty nasty. But for Eshean, don't have to worry about them like ignoring your guard. Yeah, that's not gonna happen at all. Like that's what Andrea is good at. For Eshean, she is different, but power creeping in different ways. All right, moving on. We got Hofmann. Hofmann is gonna be both infantry and lancer. You can only choose one of these, of course. And his talent increases his attack and int by 15% at 3 stars, 30% at 6 stars. At the end of action, can summon Kingdom Shield within the radius of 4 blocks, which inherits the hero type and corresponding attributes of like specific amount depending on star level, minimum as which is 60%, and then maximum is 90%. If there's already a Kingdom Shield summon on the field, he can teleport it within 2 blocks around itself instead. And this can be done again after 4 turns at 3 stars, or if it's at 6 stars, it'll be 2 turns before you can do this again. And the Kingdom Shield will have like a interesting talent on there. So basically, you won't be able to move this thing, attack or move, and it cannot be healed. And also on top of this is immune to all debuffs. Once the defense range is specified, the Kingdom Shield cannot be controlled, and it will leave the battlefield after 3 turns. Or actually, yeah, or it will leave after 3 turns. So yeah, once the third turn is gone, the shield will disappear. The Glory Guard formation, which is a one skill that the Kingdom Shield has, and this is a active skill, can designate a 3-line defense zone and receive a command attack in minus 15% to enemies within the defense radius, and this will last 4 turns and cannot be dispelled. So you can already tell that this is basically hindering your enemies like attack and also like offensive capabilities when it comes to this shield. So yeah, basically this Hoffman is going to be a decent pick when it comes to PvP, but in most scenarios you don't really need him because you know there'll be a lot of things like Rosensteel out there that could actually stop you from doing all of these nonsense. So yeah, this is quite okay if you're able to get Rosensteel banned at some point, but most of the time that's not going to happen. Just to let you know. Depending on the box, of course, because you know most people nowadays carry AO and Rosensteel in the same box. So Hoffman might not be able to do much over there. So just to keep that in mind. And let's talk about his skills, even though he's not really like not like great unit unlike Eshean. So we're gonna go through this anyway, so that you'll get some ideas of how he works. So, anyways, the one cost skill he has is actually like a toggling skill. So after actively damage an enemy, actually this is not toggling. This is a debuff kind of thing that will be applied like one of them at random. Randomly applies incitement or discord to the enemy. And I don't mean discord like the platform we spoke of, not like that. Incitement reduces the unit range by 1, and before actively attacking and engaging in combat, their max health will be reduced by 30% for 1 turn. So that's actually pretty nasty, don't you think? It reduces their range by 1, and also their HP will be reduced by 30%. So yeah, you can already tell that it basically weakens their defense. So yep, basically incitement is going to be pretty strong. And then Discord is the other one that's also pretty strong. Hero's mobility -1, and can't receive act again effects of 1 turn. So if you're full able to get one of those two, they're gonna run in for a rough time. Like incitement basically won't be able to attack if they're melee attackers, and also the HP gets shrunk by this too. So that's actually pretty nasty. And then Discord is probably somewhat worse because for one you won't be able to move far, and also you cannot move again or not move again, act again at all, even from your support healers. So yeah, if you get one of those two, yeah, good luck with that. But you could also prevent this, of course, with Rosen Seal or anybody that can prevent debuffs from coming at you. And we have 2C skill on Hoffman. So basically, this is a chaotic strategy. This is his version, not Florentia. Just to let you know. Attacks all enemies in 3 straight lines, dealing 0.3 times AoE damage, and causes enemies hit to randomly change positions, and can only move in a straight line, which will last 1 turn. Honestly, just by reading this is actually well suited for PvP because a Takuto has done something like this. So basically, it shifts their positions around and also forces them to only walk on straight lines. So you can already tell this is going to be pretty strong. If Kingdom Shield has a protection range specified, it will deal an additional 0.1 times area damage to enemies within the protection range and activate all attack effects. So yeah, that is going to be pretty dirty, don't you think? As long as they're within that range of that thing, that is going to deal additional AoE. So that's actually pretty nasty. And of course, we have the 3C, which is the Bloody Wing Shield, which is a 5-turn cooldown. And this is a 3-block range from self, of course. And I forgot to say, Chaotic Strategy has a 3-turn cooldown. Just to let you know, and it's a line AoE of 5 blocks. And the passive part of the 3C is that when there's a Summon Kingdom Shield within 3 blocks around you, the damage dealt is increased by 20%. So as long as you're staying with your shield, you'll deal more damage. And then there's a physical damage, of course. Deals 0.36 times AoE damage to all enemies within a 3-block radius around himself, and applies affected enemies unable to heal for 1 turn. If an enemy already has cannot heal effect, an additional effect is created, the enemy will be stunned for 1 turn. If the Kingdom Shield has a protection range specified, it will deal an additional 0.12 times AoE damage to all enemies within the protection range and activate all attack effects. So yeah, 3C, even though this is an AoE attack, it's still pretty nasty when it comes to like hurting your opponent. So this skill is not meant to kill, just to let you know. But yeah, basically it stops them from healing. But if they already have the healing effect, they get stunned in return. So yikes. So if they got heal blocked, they will get stunned next time. So yeah, Hoffman is gonna be out for blood when it comes to like being the guardian of whatever. So you could already tell Hoffman's 3C is pretty nasty already, but on the bright side is that this is not meant for killing, but if you're able to kill someone with this, then wow, okay, you're insane. But yeah, based on the damage, it doesn't seem like it's meant for killing, so just keep that in mind. All right, now moving on, let's talk about the SP hero that's coming in this update, which is Almeda. SP Almeda is gonna have a basic bonus once you fully unlock her, which is HP and int by increased by 5%. Her SP talent, at the end of the action, heals a friendly unit with the lowest HP by specific amount, maximum at 3 times of Almeda's int, and removes 2 random debuffs from the same target ally. Then applies 2 random debuffs to 2 random enemies closest to Almeda. And everything I said about this talent is 6 stars. And your Almeda could probably be different, like different star level depending on how far you've gone through the game. If you already gone really far, then you should have 6 star Almeda. And then the new soldier she gets with this is Shrine Maidens. So this is pretty nice because this will actually match up with the similar level to other healers we have in the game, like Liana and Rosenseal, or anybody else in general. And these are her skills. So her one cost skill is interesting because it is a 3 different version of the skill. So you can choose one of those skills here once you activate this. And this is a 4 turn cooldown, just so the FYI. And then at the end of the effect, the cooldown of all support skills is reduced by 1. By 1 turn, of course. So yeah, this is actually pretty nice for her to have. So anyways, let's read through what these do. So Harbor Appraise, which is self casting. When actively used, healing effect for this turn will be increased by 50%. At the end of the turn, the talent will trigger 1 additional time, so that's actually quite awesome. So she'll be able to heal more when you do this. And the other one is called Goddess Loves You, which is a single casting on 3 blocks range. And this one grants one ally when actively attacking and entering combat, applies 2 debuffs to the enemy before the battle, which will last 2 turns. And then finally, the last one, which is the thing called Eye Bozel. Single, and it's a 3 block casting range. And it's a magic damage, and it does like AoE damage, like 0.2 times damage to one enemy on the battlefield, and applies 1 random strong debuff. So yep, basically Almeda could be evil and she could be a healer for you. So just think of what you can do with her. And finally, her 2C SP skill, Almade, Don't Lose Heart, which is a 2 turn cooldown and is a 3 block range casting, and also is a 3 block radius of the effect. And it is an assist skill, applies 2 layers of Strong Heart on allied units within 3 blocks. And the Strong Heart grants immunity and reflection of the next applied debuff. Can be applied up to 3 stacks. Cannot be removed. Also restores HP by 3 times Almeida's int. So basically, Strongheart is like a light mirror in some ways, but this is actually allows your units to heal more. Like depending on depending on the int that your Almeida has. So if your Almeida is actually well built, she could actually be an excellent healer. So yeah, it's pretty exciting to see her to be in the game, but I don't know when is her Heart Desire is going to come out. But I know it's always going to be second week. But if it comes on the first week, that's telling us that it is a 3 week major update cycle. So just keep that in mind when you think about getting SP zones. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the banners. What banners do we expect? So, anyways, first week we got Eshean and Hofmann beginning on the 1st of February, all the way to the 28th of February. Oops, voice cracked. Sorry. 28th of February. That's what I mean. Week 2, we have a Dengelmo and Sagani radar banner, along with the Wish banner of Langrisser 1, 2, and 3, as usual, starting on the 8th of February, all the way to the 21st of February. On week 3, we have the Resny banner for Gustav, Amadeus, and Rosenseal, and the Wish banner for Langrisser 4 and 5. And then this will begin on the 15th of February all the way to the end of the major update, which is the 28th of February. And finally, on the 4th week, we have Rosalia, Emilia, and Sissy White Destiny banner, along with the returning classic of Rachel, Lana, and Tiaras. And then this will begin on the 22nd of February all the way to March 6th. And keep in mind, like the major update we had last time, like with the Andra and Lemia, things could shift around, so be careful. And also keep your eyes peeled, of course, when it comes to like what things have changed for themselves or whatever. So yeah, you can already tell that this is gonna be like something you should probably keep in mind because Xeon could probably mix things up. So just be aware of that. All right, next up, let's talk about events/changes to expect. What are we going to expect here? So first off, we got Forbidden Battleground coming back. So that's actually quite nice to see. So that means we get to like put in some more stuff, like more skin vouchers is nice. And of course, this week is going to be introduction of new materials, like the new equipments. I mean, Eternal Forge is coming back, and of course we have the new Covenant underway as well. So we have Vidar coming in, which is the last one, I think, the last and final Covenant coming to the game. Vidar is coming. And then for quality of life changes, there are indeed a lot to go through. So let me take like them one by one. So the gold increase in many ways, which is expected from the last video I mentioned. Apex maps now have grid lines. Factions can now be displayed on yours and the enemy's box. So this is a huge addition when it comes to Apex settings. So you will now be able to calculate your distancing much easier and also what factions your units are part of before the battle begins. So that's actually quite nice to have. And also daily burgers distribution will now last the entire day, unlike before where they only last for 12 hours. So that's a nice change for the daily burgers distribution. So if you missed them the first time for whatever reason, you don't have to worry about missing out on those ever again because they're now extending the period for the daily burgers to be staying for the rest of the day. So that's nice to have. And then there's a new feature when it comes to lock and unlocking gears. So there's now a batch feature of locking and unlocking. So that's actually a nice addition there. And also, speaking of equipments, the purchasing EE or exclusive equipments from the heroes, you can now purchase them through the hero data itself, prospectively. So that's actually a nice addition. Because in Secret Realm Store, there are so many exclusives now, and it's kind of difficult to find where they are. So with this button, you can now get to their exclusive right off the bat. So you can just search for the hero you want, and then check and see if they have exclusives. If they have one, you do get an option to buy from them directly. So that's actually quite nice. And then arena wins on bonds are now just one win. So previously, it's a 5 arena wins to get this bond to be finished. But with this update, you just need one win. That's about it. So that's nice. And then the EXP and enchant quest from the daily missions will be removed, which many people will find it like okay, but I'm not sure if they're gonna compensate the missing EXP team level experience points like when they try to level up their accounts. I'm worried that it might actually slow them down, but we'll see how it goes. They could probably try something else with those EXP quests or something. But anyways, for now they're gonna take these two out because for one, it is wasteful, and secondly, it's actually a bit of a hassle to deal with. And also, EXP potions use of EXP potion is actually becoming less practical now, because most of the units are already level 70 by this point. So yeah, there's no point of keeping that forever. And then finally, we have the new stage difficulty for the Way of Law. So there's going to be level 75 added to the game. So yeah, if you're looking for even more of a challenge, there you go. Way of the Law level 75 will be opened up. So that's nice to see. And we have new confession and exclusive. So anyways, this time around the exclusive we have is just one. So yep, not a big surprise here because we did have we did notice that it's actually at some point will be only have one exclusive added to the game at some point. But anyways, this is not the only one that will be getting one though. I know the other one is gonna be the update with Ice Abyss. So yeah, this is only one exclusive this time, and this goes to Nymph. In plus 10% when applying Fancy Bubble, the cooldown of all her skills are reduced by 1. If you own Serenade at the beginning of the round, you will get an additional layer of the talent count. So that's actually quite awesome for her to have. And then the new confession for this update is Tormilk. And then now moving on to the new casting pattern skills. First time we got Kaguya, Cecil's main mage. In plus 5% at the beginning of the round, if there are two or more friendly units within one ring of Kaguya, the cards Boar, Deer, and Butterfly from the talent spawn effect will be reduced to one ring. So with this casting, she's going to be much more usable because, unlike before where her cards would just spread everywhere on the field, like two rings, that's actually too big, don't you think? But with this casting, those cards will spawn closer to herself, so that's actually quite awesome for her to have. And I could imagine more people will play her now. Although, of course, this is still not for everyone. Just this is actually a bit of a big improvement for Kaguya, and I believe Cecil's gonna like this change for her once you fully cast her. Next up, we got Sissy White. Healing effect plus 10% if 3 or more war coins are consumed by the end of the action. The friendly unit with the lowest HP will be restored to 3 times of caster's int and applies investment to the same target ally. So, yep, basically, Suzy White has like an improvement with her casting, which basically, if you have 3 or more war coins on yourself and that are like consumed by the end of the action, anybody with the lowest HP will have their HP restored by 3 times of her int, and also applies investment to them right away. So this is a nice improvement because this kind of adds the partial 3C on them, like which is the one cost of a war coin from the 3C to that same target ally that she heals. So that's actually quite awesome. That Sizzy White should be able to do much more now, unlike before where she had to apply investment manually. But now with this casting, it will just apply it automatically. That of course allows you to put investment on more allies as well. And then we have Helena. That's the other casting. So attack and defense plus 5%. When using skills to deal damage, if you are on a friendly crystal terrain effect, which is either yourselves or the ally Helena, 50% chance to reduce the skill cooldown by 3. So this is actually quite awesome. So this is like a mini clock in some ways, but it's a 50-50 for this to work, and the cooldown reduction just 3 turns. So having this casting on Helena is actually quite solid. Although, of course, sure, it does not work all the time, but still, it's a nice improvement. And finally, we have Chris. In plus 10%, when actively attacking, unit restores its own HP after battle. The recovery amount is 2 times of caster's int, and obtains 1 random buff. So, yep, as you can already tell, Chris is casting, even though it's just mediocre, is actually a pretty nice addition for her. So if you've been using Chris a lot, keep using her, because her casting is actually going to be pretty awesome when it comes to like a self-sustaining unit. And finally, before we close off this episode, there's something we should probably keep our eye on when it comes to major updates upcoming. Is that the next major update is going to be even wilder. So Isolde and Jace are coming, and Isolde is going to be the next faction buffer for Mythical Realm. So yeah, she's going to be an interesting addition because for one, she can also buff Oboro. Just to keep that in mind. So in case you forgot what faction Oboro is part of, Oboro is Uless, Origins of Light, and then there's also Mythical Realm. So if you have Isolde added to your team, that means Oboro will be able to get buff from one of those 3 options. So it could either be from Landius, Dehart, or even Isolde. Or if you have Freya, that works too. But anyways, for Jace is also pretty good in some ways, but I think the main prize here is Isolde, which obviously makes sense. And there will be more spending nightmares coming along the way. And would I be spending any resources on this banner? Maybe, but maybe not, depending on how well is my resource stacking up. Because everyone is gonna go through the hell at some point, but hopefully we can all make it through. So anyways, that's the end of the episode. Hopefully you find this video informative, and I'll see you all next time.